Okay, so yesterday we started trying to create a contract programmatically, and the thing I ran into and I noticed is it was not putting anything on the chain because it was not actually sending the transaction. So I did a bunch of work on it, and I want to give credit to this answer on I guess it's the Ethereum Stack Exchange. In particular, what I ended up using, let me move this, is, well, this down here, the sleep and how he dealt and dealing with the the fact that it's asynchronous and you need to wait until you get certain information back in order to be able to get the contract. So I want to give this fellow, whoever did this, these two gentlemen, and I'm going to butcher their names, but you can see it, and I put a link in there. And they gave credit to another thing, which is also in the code, another Stack Overflow answer to do the wait. So let's get into the code. Basically, we had deploy. Oh, sorry, we created a new contract, and what was tricky, I didn't realize I was doing, this was not fair, this was succeeding, but it was wrong. One thing, and I tend to see this more in JavaScript, but you know, could be anywhere. Basically, sometimes you have to hunt through the object to find what you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for this bytecode, which is what the contract deploy method needs. So I had to go contract data, you would think data, no. Bytecode, no, it's bytecode object. And then you had to add a 0x to it to make it look like a hex number. So once we sent that, we were able to, it would actually deploy it. And what I ended up doing, I actually tried two different ways to where to retrieve, if you need to retrieve the contract back. So here, let's see. Okay, then I get the receipt, and I could retrieve the contract. But again, this is an asynchronous operation. So while we again do a wait until you have the address, and then it prints out the address. Now I also did a second version called retrieve contract rather, and this one, again, you have to do all this stuff, create a Web3, get the ABI, set the provider, and then it's gonna loop until you have this, until the contract has in fact been put on the chain, because it's just going to keep going and try to run this. And then when it does, and again, this comes from that example I was showing you, it just waits, and when it gets it, then it uses that sleep method. When it finally finds it, then it prints it out. So let's run it, and hopefully it will do what I want it to do. let's start at the beginning here, and you can see it found it. And now let's carry on, and it is gonna now log the, so you can see this, how this does in fact retrieve the contract. And I want to check, I'll have to bring this up, the transactions. Let's see. You have a bunch of the contract creation. Let's see. Here, our contract address was C48B, and let's see, C4. Okay, let me show this to you. It did, in fact, create the contract on our Ganache chain here. Oh, I didn't know if I showed you the code. Let's go back and do that, because that's kind of important. Let's see. And then we'll let's move this up. There you go. Okay, let's go through this quickly, because it looks like you didn't see it. It does everything we did yesterday, except we get the data, because again you had to go through, and it's a data bytecode object that gets our code. We deploy, and then we send, and this was new. So first we'll deploy with the correct code, and then we send, and then we have a then, and that allows us to retrieve the contract address, because this is going to wait until it is done, and then we have to do another wait after we try to then we can retrieve the contract, and then we have to wait until we get that retrieved, and we can print that out. Then we have a separate method that again is going to wait, because otherwise it's going to try to run before the contract's deployed. It's going to wait till it can get it, and until the thing is deployed, and then it will retrieve it. So let's again run it. What happened? Oh. So let's start over. Let's see if it will. Well, we're going to have to change the address in here. But let's see, because I ran so many times, I ran out of ether. So let me do that. Let me show you once we do it. Let's go to accounts, and we'll get this account here and see if it should be happy. And where's my, here we go. Oh, put it in the wrong place. Okay, hopefully you're seeing that. Yep, you are. So now that we've put a new address in. Let's save it. And let's run. And hopefully you can see the contract address is 50BA, and it keeps going. And you can see it retrieved the contract. And what happened to my code? Where did my code go? Oh well. So you have seen the code, and let me show you Ganache now. Let me bring up Ganache and show you that. And you can see that that's addresses. Let's go to transactions. And you can see 5B, you see it did in fact create all these contracts. That's why I ran out of ether there. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful, and you can see how you're able to programmatically create a contract, which means, or retrieve a contract. So we can get a contract and create a new instance of it, and then we could put in what we need. I would think for each separate contract you would want, well, you can retrieve the contract. We're going to have to retrieve the contract in order to manipulate it, and of course when we start the process we're going to create a new contract. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. A little bit of technical, but anyway, if this has been helpful, please give a like, please subscribe, please ring the bell, and please share it with your friends who may be interested, and I will speak to you next time.